Welcome to Artifact Insight, and I have even more limestone relief fragments to show you. But this one is an image that you are going to see very often in ancient Egypt, so I think it's a really important lesson for everyone to be able to recognize this if you have not seen it already for yourself. These two limestone relief fragments date to the Middle Kingdom, somewhere between the 12th and 13th dynasty, approximately 1976 to 1656 BCE. Now, this motif, again, is very common, and you're actually going to see it throughout the ancient Egyptian time period. And it's kind of rare to have one image or one motif that you will see almost unchanged throughout the entirety of ancient Egyptian history. Now, these two figures you have here are called fecundity figures. And in this case, they are essentially representing fertility of a non-sexual origin. And in this case, it is most likely the fertility of the Nile River. As you can see, each of the deities both have a kind of crown made out of a plant from their specific region, and they are essentially representing both Upper and Lower Egypt. So in this case, this is representing Lower Egypt as he has a papyrus flower on his head. And this one, although the piece is missing, it's representing a lily flower on top of his head. Now, what they are also doing is that they are each holding a version of their plant, although the parts that you can only see are essentially this long, like, vine. And they are each holding their respective region's plants as they are tying it together. So this tying of the two different plants is called a Sema Tawy sign. And this essentially means that they are tying both the papyrus and the lily flower around a symbol or a hieroglyph for a human trachea and lungs. And it looks a little weird, but essentially it's this long kind of stem with these two it kind of is in this weird shape that sort of looks closer to a heart, but it is meant to be lungs. And this is meant to, as a full sign, represent the unity and the unification of both Upper and Lower Egypt. And the text that you can see here accompanying it says, "I am giving to you the two lands," and the two lands being Upper and Lower Egypt. What is also very interesting is that the composition of the faces of each of these figures is done a little differently than normal. Now, the face here that represents Lower Egypt bears the hallmarks of the 12th dynasty royal family and royal portraits of Amenemhet III. But the figure on the other side has a noticeably softer face and less defined. It's actually suspected that someone may have redone this area, especially when you look at the differences between the two bodies of each of the people. This piece was originally on auction in London in 1963 and then purchased by John J. Slocum, an American diplomat and literary agent who died in 1997. The piece was estimated to go from 30,000 to 50,000 British pounds, which, considering how small this is, it is only 14 inches tall. I thought that was an absolutely crazy number. And I might have been right, because it appears nobody bought it, or again, that the price is hidden on the Christie's website.